I mean, we saw strange bans. We saw interesting ban draft approaches, like the first save, Invisible Woman. That hasn't gone according to plan, but still, lots of time, lots of room and opportunities to try to figure out what you guys want to go for. Although this is Oceania group stage, we are in two separate groups, single round robin, so every single best of 3 will matter if you want to qualify into playoffs.
That's right, and I believe Chiefs are the top of their group right now. Maybe that changes after today. We'll have to wait and see. Chiefs do get the early Elsa lock-in, though. That's a blessing for them, but double Gambit ban. What is BXIOM's response going to be off of that?
I mean, it's going to be the Mantis, right? If the Elsa is going to be first saved by the Chiefs, surely it's going to be BXIOM taking away the Mantis to prevent Elsa from getting access to that 12% damage boost, and then BXIOM would probably want to go either for the Elsa save or the Invis save. We saw Kanga do this back in their series up against Gen G, but now BXIOM are looking to do the exact same. Chiefs will make the Elsa one-sided.
Invisible Woman does have a lot of good get-off-me tools in case there's pressure in the back line. We see Beast Node and Zhong locking in onto the Daredevil before we get in. Well, that's unfortunate. They're not going to be able to rock that Daredevil anymore.
Nope. Well, that's a lot of dive being taken away from the Chiefs' arsenal. Also, a lot of scouting potential as well. That Daredevil, man. It's not damage. It's not mobility that makes him broken.
Info.
It's always the information, being able to scout. Chiefs are banning away the Doctor Strange. This has been rising in popularity in Asia in the current playoff stage that they're going through right now. And it looks like OCE are looking to follow that same pattern.
Do you save the Doctor Strange here?
Ooh, to make it one-sided? Maybe, but I feel like the Invisible Woman is just a little more valuable. Like, BXIOM, if they do commit the final ban onto the Strange, it's fine, but it looks like they're going to go for the one-sided Ultron instead. That is a very unpopular move, but BXIOM
Pick your hero.
don't really care about that. They're going to do what they're comfortable with, and they're going to do just that. Ultron and Invis going to be the saves for BXIOM.
Hey, look, you lose out on the Strange, but at least now you're banning out damage amp opportunities against Zhong, who gets the Elsa reserve. There is the chance, though, we could have maybe the Luna Snow come out later with the Fate of Both Worlds damage amp. That could be a possibility. It's been mostly a desperation move if that does happen. Dietrich on the Jeff, you still have Bubble on the Invisible Woman. That's a solid back line. And Beast Node, excuse me, if he can terrorize with this Captain America for the backline against BXIOM, that's also really scary.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what the Chiefs decide to cook up. I'm sure Beast Node would want to use the portal ridiculously early to make sure either to get up into the high ground or at the very least cut off the main area. We are, I believe, starting on the frozen airfield, so lots of options for the Chiefs in terms of which way they want to go. Whereas BXIOM still trying to finalize their composition. It looks like Dylan will be rocking the Namor, which hasn't been shown up all too much as
First time today.
Donald. Yeah, I think that is the first time today. So Donald charges up the portal. At the very least, we'll scout out where BXIOM are going towards, and then they just get the jump onto them.
There we go, jump is out. Remember too, BXIOM do not have a Strange portal of their own. They cannot because he is banned out. That might have ripple effects all throughout the rest of this matchup. We'll have to wait and see. Chiefs on point directly. It opens up in 3 seconds. Beast Node, though, from behind. Bampool is out, looking to rack up that damage, get the early ban hammer if possible to hurt the front line.
Spawns are flipped right now. Chiefs are effectively putting their opposition at a very, very disadvantageous situation. If they want to retreat, they have to go the long way around. BXIOM quite literally backs against the wall in the wrong side of the map. Chiefs are going to look to accelerate with that ban hammer. Can they find the value? Because right now, Reno will find first blood, but Sambo is there to quickly trade.
There we go, quick trades. Banhammer went on the deep impact, forces disposition just for a few extra moments now. Reposition again, 2 seconds, has to back away as the Jeff can now risk being caught in a 1v1 up against Reno. There we go, finally a cap in Chiefs' favor. A Rage of Ultron for the Age of Ultron is out. Unfortunately, not long for this world. Donald shuts down Deep Impact mid. Oh, Reno on the other side, though, does remove one of the Vanguards. One by one, BXIOM Japan are losing their members.
And there you go. Chiefs get the early cap, and they will keep on going. How does Chiefs want to facilitate their composition at the current situation? Reno is closing in on the Dance of the Butterfly. BXIOM do have the invisible boundary, but if the Chiefs are able to find some sort of surprise KO onto Axolio, that could prove to be beneficial for the Chiefs, not only in keeping that site for themselves, but also in terms of keeping their ultimate economy healthy as ever.
It's contingent on whether or not you can force out Axo to go for a very early invisible boundary. Proteus out. That doesn't find much. Dylan, in fact, gets taken down because of it. Dance of the Butterflies was waiting for the invisible boundary. Unfortunately, shuts down Reno's ult. Information's gathered. 5 ultimates still left, including the Jeff. It's Jeff is out. Is there environmental damage right now? The answer is no. Forcing the mag into a corner is going to allow Jong to get not 1, not 2, but a triple to start off this match.
I mean, great awareness from the Chiefs, right? They use Reno because Reno knows as soon as he presses that Q button with the Dance of the Butterfly, it's going to be responded with the invisible boundary, and that's exactly what Chiefs wanted to do. And with that key strategist ultimate gone on the side of BXIOM, they really don't have any safe options. You could argue Crime is the only person that has a defensive option with the Meteor M to soak up as much projectiles as possible. But the Chiefs, with so many ultimates at their disposal, BXIOM need to find a way to stall out and make sure they get it online and ready to go.
Agamotto's out, though. It's Jeff going for any sort of heal that they can. Meteor M on the way. Not sure where it went. Doesn't matter because it found no impact. Apex Predators out. Jong and company using all the ultimates they can to force overtime into their own favor. 2 strategist ultimates. Any impact found. Deep impact again. Shut down mid. Oh, Donald for 2. That's BXIOM gone and Crime to the wayside. That's a clean 100-0.
How in the world did the Chiefs hold? BXIOM had a Rage of Ultron to get themselves onto the site, but they just weren't able to follow through. They just couldn't find the eliminations. The space was made, but if you're not able to get the key knockouts, the Chiefs can just claw their way right back, and that's exactly what they did in the neutral. Donald coming up huge with the double Maelstrom of Madness. And BXIOM, they had their chance, they had their moment to try to extend that first round, but unfortunately it just was not enough. Chiefs get away with the round, and now with Reno getting closer and closer to that Dance of the Butterfly, I don't think BXIOM have anything to respond in time.
No, the best thing that they would have possibly is just the invisible boundary, but even then, like you mentioned, that 10% difference in how fast we know Reno can rack it up, that's going to be a really tough challenge, and frankly, I don't know if it's worth using invisible boundary against it.
I mean, if it's not going to come up in time, it's better to not use it at all. BXIOM will roll out, try to take control of as much map space as possible. Dylan going up into the high ground to try to find some sort of flank opportunities. It looks like the rest of BXIOM are also there, but Donald is channeling the portal, so he sees all of this.
Here we go, information's out now. Everyone descends down directly onto the point, forcing everyone onto a very awkward funnel. There's no environment to hide around. Portal's out though. Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, they literally they have to go through the same path. A little unlucky, but the mission area does open up. Thankfully, the Chiefs are able to be there to contest for a little bit. Almost flips in BXIOM's favor, but it's still going to be neutralized.
What's Reno to do? He's up and above. He's trying to set up for Dance of the Butterflies, taking this 1v1 up against the enemy time lock, but unfortunately ends in a draw. No one's able to get the KO off of each other. Reno chooses to re-engage. Invisible boundary brought out. It looks like that might be on BXIOM's side. I'm not entirely sure,
yeah,
but
through
it all. Yeah, that's huge. That means Reno now has
huge
utilization for an ult here. Reno, Dance of the Butterflies, as soon as it falls, destroys the back line. That's 2 gone, 2 strategists down. All the strategists for BXIOM are gone, leaving just the Vanguards, and the team that they are meant to protect have been sent to the grave.
I mean, shout out to BXIOM. They made it a little close in that first fight, but unfortunately, with Axolio's ultimate getting used by, I believe, Beast Node going crazy into the backline of BXIOM, just forced out the invisible boundary. That allows Reno to go absolutely crazy with the Dance of the Butterfly, and now it's Dylan's turn onto it, but there are countermeasures. Great ultimate coming in from Zikrik to get himself out of danger, and Reno with the invisibility to make sure that the slashes don't connect.
It's not a crazy amount of heals that the pool Jeff leaves behind, but it's enough to dissuade away from Dance of the Butterflies. Ultimates are out once again. Meteor and can the snipe happen? No, lands directly in the Donald's shield. It's a flurry of colors directly onto the point, and even then, Chiefs are still racking up those numbers. It's Jeff. It looks like once again might be a possibility as we go to the CCTV camera. Banhammer's out. Domble's still holding the line. Unfortunately, though, I don't see many strategists there for the heals.
Oh, no.
And when I do, it's Beast Node from behind looking to pressure them out. Domble's good for one, and so is Dylan. That's BXIOM Japan making a turnaround.
Huge turnaround for BXIOM. Signs of life coming in as well. But there are a lot of ultimates used from both sides. Bubblecup went for a very, very passive invis boundary to keep the Chiefs alive. Donald almost got into safety with the invisible boundary, but just wasn't able to get there in time, and he gets eliminated in the end. Chiefs, though, they still have chances to retake, but with the lack of ultimate economy, it's going to be a little bit difficult. If Donald is able to draw out Xolio's invisible boundary, or maybe even try to find a way to draw out the Kumio Unleashed as well, Chiefs could have a way to come back with Zikrik coming up huge with the It's Jeff Eat.
Such an aggro Agamotto being brought out. Beast Node good for the 1v1 against Sambo. Another Vanguard gone. Big Eat, spit out your fellow brethren, and that's going to be Donald back to safety. Everyone on Chiefs get the cap back. No doubt now going to match up to the 60%. You know what would be really helpful at a time like this, Dan? A Doctor Strange portal. But there's a problem. It's been banned out against BXIOM.
You can see it on the top left. The Chiefs decided, hey, I think it'd be funny if BXIOM didn't have access to a portal. Reno looks for the dash into the Dance of the Butterfly, but he got stuck on something on the map, and he couldn't find the best way to get that ultimate down. Xolio finds Jong. Dylan goes down as well, so it's a 1-for-1 overall. Invis boundary now drawn out by Xolio. Chiefs could come up huge with Jong on the Elsa, but that Elsa still has to make his way back onto the site.
Invisible boundary goes down. Not a lot of heals left. In fact, I don't really see a lot of Chiefs on the point. They're barely holding on. They're playing for overextensions. Beast Node barely clinging to life at the same. Prime loses out, brings down the Doppelganger. That's Beast Node gone. Donald from up above. Don't think they have, no Agamotto available just yet, but Jong is popping off once again. Finds these moments of sublime aim, but Jong does fall to the hands of Crime. That's a recap back from BXIOM.
Ooh, this is looking competitive for BXIOM. Chiefs are going to get held back for a little bit. Chiefs kept using ultimates, but they just couldn't find the value that they wanted to. Bubblecup has the invisible boundary, but BXIOM do have ways to shut it down. Sambo with the Meteor M. Dylan trying to get something with the Dance of the Butterfly as Bubblecup uses the invisible boundary. Zikrik isn't able to find refuge in time as Bubblecup. The invisible boundary will expire, but that is a good Jeff Eat onto Donald. He's going to go down to the abyss. He immediately switches over to Captain America to at least get some sort of mobility back onto the site. Zikrik channeling the portal quick as you like it. Will be able to touch in time.
97,
so the Chiefs
98.
still have a chance to at least, they will go to overtime. But BXIOM are still holding strong.
Holding strong, portal is out, just enough time to go for another. Everyone's using the environment, a pillar dividing out the site for a chance to hold on through. Crime is overextending, no one's around to help him. He has to back away. Invisible boundary, it's a corner. It might be enough to hold the line and bring out a litany of ultimates thereafter. Donald's close, Loki is out, Jong with the Apex Predator could be huge to dissuade out of the invisible boundary. It's an Agamotto from the sky, and Donald's there to crush it down.
Wow.
Another invisible boundary to do the work, and let me tell you, strategists are the new duelists, it seems. 2 in 1 second, does the same. It's gonna be a big comeback. A reclaim is out. The Chiefs, there's one left. It's Deep Impact. The Spider-Man cannot find much, and Chiefs take map 1.
Hey, that's the power of taking away the Doctor Strange, right? BXIOM, once they lost that overtime fight, there is nothing that they could do. Do what you want with the Spider-Man. Do what you want with the Venom. You're not going to get there in time. And the Chiefs, huge win coming in as well in that final fight. Donald going over to the Loki of all things, something that we have not seen ever, but he had to because Zikrik was channeling the portal. Donald switches over to the Loki so that if the Chiefs jump onto the site, they at least have the regeneration domain to at least bring them safe passage. So the coordination and the adjustments coming in from the Chiefs is absolutely perfect, and BXIOM will have to lose out here in map number 1.
I will say both these teams played incredibly well. I think the Chiefs' ult management was sublime. I really liked the fast swaps we had seen from the team too, just in case. And like you mentioned, a lot of those quick strategic-oriented swaps helped out extremely well. But when it came down to it, BXIOM Japan, they struggled to find picks when it was necessary.
Yeah, I mean, they had opportunities when the Chiefs were a little bit exposed, right? There were times where Chiefs didn't have any opportunities to use ultimates. And BXIOM, they have capitalized a few times, but they didn't really capitalize every time.
Yeah, that's a fair point. There were some mistakes that Chiefs had made. We expected maybe a little bit more dominance. BXIOM Japan woke up a lot in that second point. The fact that they could hold their own and take those 1v1s when necessary was good on an individual level, but whether it be the Doctor Strange ban, whether it be not having enough pressure for the backline against Chiefs, the individual 1v1s looked good, but it was bigger picture stuff that made them struggle.
Yep, and the Chiefs, I mean, you can see that they have the world-class talent that they have at the ready. And the Chiefs being able to consistently perform like this means that, I mean, despite BXIOM putting up a fight, the Chiefs know that they are the better team. They know they're able to be like, hey, we know that we're going to lose out in this fight, but we have options. We know how to come back from this. And that experience alone just allows the Chiefs to take over BXIOM and now get a win to their name. Now BXIOM, what kind of map did they go for? I believe BXIOM chose Araco the last time they had to choose a map. So maybe they decide to rebound to that same option. We'll see what the option does become.
Yeah, I'm really curious about what options are available here. I'm going to quickly look at the stats before we go to the break and see. Yep, last time for BXIOM it was Araco, and then for Chiefs they also went to Yggdrasil instead. So, different options available. We haven't seen Chiefs on Araco just yet, if that's where we go. But we find that out in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. What could very well be our final map of the night. We see if Chiefs can live up to the hype that everyone in this region has been saying could be the most dominant team in OCE. We'll have to wait and find out. My name is Keg, and I'm joined by Dan once again. We get to see if BXIOM can change can change things up.
We'll see about that. I mean, BXIOM don't change in terms of what map they decide to go for. They do, in fact, go back to Araco, so nothing new there for them. But the Chiefs, I mean, even Skittles shouted them out, right? The Chiefs might be the second best team coming out of OCE. But for now, that's the claim on paper, right? It's gonna be we're gonna have to be put into practice, right? Can the Chiefs really perform to the hype that they have been providing for themselves? I mean, it's a team with a big Oregon OCE right behind them, and BXIOM are going to put themselves in a more comfortable map, you could say.
You know, it's surprising that BXIOM would consider this a comfortable map. I feel like Araco might be one of the toughest challenges you could take a team like Chiefs to. It could work, but honestly speaking, I think the most confident teams we've seen in both of our pack regions, Dan, on Araco have been the teams that are willing to take more diverse individual roles. So I'm talking like Black Panthers, Spider-Mans, God forbid, Daredevils, Wolverines, Angelas work really well on the attacking side here. I didn't really see that from BXIOM outside of Dylan Psylocke.
Yeah, I mean, Psylocke is just one of the more consistent options. If you want to dive, you can dive with the Psylocke, but if you have to resort to a brawl style of gameplay, right? Psylocke can do just that as well. Can just start attacking the vanguards, stack up that ultimate, and then look for those opportunities to go for the Dance of the Butterfly and then go for those key eliminations. But BXIOM, right? The dive composition just doesn't quite work out for them. They tried to make it work, but then the Chiefs were just able to come in with the counter punch, it felt like.
Yeah, I will say the counter punch was there. It wasn't as strong of a counter punch than I was expecting in this matchup. Especially on that second point for Hell's Heaven. There was a moment where it looked like BXIOM could have maybe taken it to a third. I don't know. Maybe there's a chance we could see this go to a long-range holdout for Convoy.
Yeah, we'll see, but BXIOM do also choose the defensive side first, so Chiefs do have a chance to set the tone here. And then BXIOM, if they see how well Chiefs push, maybe they can, at the very least, match it for themselves as well. But you know, that's still the theory. We gotta wait until they actually load into the map and get through the band draft. Because again, band draft is very, very important in terms of how these teams want to facilitate their compositions.
Boy, do I have good news for you, Dan. We're heading straight into map number 2. Chiefs, can they make this another 2-0 for the night, or will we be going to a third and BXIOM could be changing history? We'll find out momentarily, Dan, as we head to Araco.
Can't wait to see how these teams decide to cook on the band draft. I mean, so far, one thing's for certain, right? The Gambit going to be mirror banned from both sides. You don't want to risk having to deal with the Gambit Rogue Magneto team up. You don't want to risk a coin flip style of fights, because if one team has the Gambit ultimate and the other one doesn't, it just becomes a little bit of that tug of war. And both teams really don't want to do that, and neither does literally the rest of the professional scene in Ignite.
Also Reserve coming out from Chief's side. Jong pulled wonders. Many rabbits out of his magical hat with a utility back on Hell's Heaven. Mantis has been banned out from BXIOM. They don't have to worry about the Chiefs rocking that anymore. To be honest with you, if you have an Elsa, I'm going to give you a hot take, Dan. I really don't think you need damage amp on Elsa. I know.
That is true. I completely agree.
Hot take.
Yeah, I completely agree. It also already does way too much damage in its own right. Thankfully, it's toned down a little bit in 7.5, but right now we're still on that Season 7.0 patch, so this Elsa still has insane damage, insane mobility, and the Chiefs will get as much value of it as possible before it inevitably becomes a little bit less of a threat in Stage 1.
Do you think the Reserve here goes to Doctor Strange after Hell's Heaven? Oh my god, it does.
You're a prophet.
I can't believe that.
You knew it. I mean, BXIOM literally struggled without the Doctor Strange, so they're gonna, at the very least, save it. So the Chiefs thought about potentially taking away the Doctor Strange, but Now with BXIOM saving the Doctor Strange allows the Chiefs to go for something different. They will take away the Wolverine on BXIOM's side so that the Vanguards can breathe a little bit on the Chiefs as they round out their final save almost onto the Invisible Woman, but instead it might just be onto the one-sided Wolverine. A different approach coming in from the Chiefs.
Okay. I mean, Daredevil's not available. There was some uncomfortability for Chiefs, it felt like, on the duelist front momentarily. Jong, of course, Elsa, that was fine. Maybe this is more for Reno, just to have flexibility. And if the Wolverine doesn't work, well, you can't fall back to the Daredevil, so you have Psylocke, which could be a really good option. This final ban, Loki, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing
that's
too crazy.
Completely understandable, right? You deny the Resurrection composition from the Chiefs. You also deny the Cloak and Dagger Loki composition that the Chiefs potentially could have gone for. But at the very least, the Chiefs do have the Invisible Woman to rely on. Whereas BXIOM, all eyes are going to be onto them as in terms of what kind of composition they want to go for. They have access to a Loki one-sided on the side of BXIOM. So we're going to have to see how BXIOM decided to play out this defensive side. Loki Adam has worked out pretty well in matches past, but yeah, we're gonna have to see. Do BXIOM go for the triple? Do they go for a more aggressive option? It looks like it's gonna be 2 Vanguards, 1 Duelist, 3 Strategists kind of setup, putting Dylan on the Namor yet again here.
I think the Namor could be a good way to put the Wolverine in check. It's not too wild to assume that Reno's not going to be playing the Wolverine, considering it was reserved. I think Deep Impact sticking with the Namor, the Ultron just happens to work right now with the meta progressing, with being more damage amp heavy, but I think, honestly, Homie just likes playing Ultron.
Yeah, I mean, Ultron provides a lot of damage, and now provides a lot of damage amp. And that's likely going to be put onto, Sambal. It could be put on either Sambal or Crime. Dylan surely will have access to the drone so that he has a damage amplification if he so needs it. But right now, the Chiefs scouting out what BXIOM are setting up with. They have a general idea of what kind of composition they're working with. And the Chiefs will take full advantage of it, or at least try to, as Zikrig is going to get walled off by Beast Node and Sambal. And the Chiefs, they're just cruising on forward. No one got eliminated just yet.
BXIOM have gotten rid of critical spacing from this defense, and that makes me nervous. The damage output, I don't think the Namor is going to be enough for this position. Deep Impact with the Ultron will help from behind. Prime, the Doctor Strange, can be surprisingly a heavy hitter at times. That can try to help, but adding that all together and you still have an Elsa behind you, that's a hard pill to swallow. Beast Node and Donald the first to find 2. Bubble Cup from behind as well. Everybody but this Elsa finding picks.
Yeah, even Crime going to the Doctor Strange just couldn't. Or he respawned as the Doctor Strange. He was Doctor Strange in that first fight, but with how fast the Chiefs were cruising on forward, there just wasn't enough time for the portal to come in through. Chiefs are just literally just forcing their way in onto BXIOM, and BXIOM are giving them a lot of room to work with.
Yeah, why? This is a team that should be getting a lot of stall potential. Sambal on the Groot should be enough thereafter, but maybe it's the anti of the Wolverine that the Groot's worried about. You have the shield there that could be taking a lot of these Elsa shots. Invisible Boundaries out early on. Plenty of ults now for BXIOM to use in return, and it seems like it's all going to be used at once. Okay, it's Jeff is out, Invisible Boundary, and unfortunately, I know it's a little different this time, Dan. That's still a double up of strat ults.
Yeah, still, indeed. Deep Impact uses the Rage of Ultron. Donald now uses the Meteor to try to soak up extra projectiles, and the ultimate combination coming in from the Chiefs is just way too much for BXIOM to handle. They all go down. Crime might have a chance to use the portal, but if Chiefs are playing heads up, they could try to CC him down.
Yeah, portal's out now. You need to do whatever you can to stop this. Portal into instant Agamotto is the only solution I see here from Crime. No, okay. Oh, my God. Meat grinder. Holy.
You portal one side of the map, you're forced to go towards the other, but if that lane is perfectly placed for a comically large Gartrox, Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster for BXIOM. They
That's
kind of
rough,
just
buddy.
put themselves in an unfavorable position. Having the pressure, the lane pressure in particular from Jong on the Elsa Bloodstone just meant that BXIOM were just at that point in a single file line to let Gartrox scoop them up and take them down, but BXIOM showing signs of life at least here by taking down 2 with thanks to a 3-man Eye of Agamotto from Crime.
Yeah, solid Agamotto from Crime's side. Good to remove that top vertical angle. Dylan's taking control. Beast Node falls. The Vanguard's now straggling a bit on Chief's side, and that could work out well to maybe deny some of this space. The unfortunate reality, Dan, is that 4.5 minutes on the clock. You have to fight tooth and nail to make sure this convoy doesn't go on the upper end of this dip.
Yeah, the issue right now for BXIOM is they're still giving too much room to the Chiefs. Dylan going in crazy, aggressive Endsong Inferno to take down Zikrik, but Dylan is going to get traded out in the end. It's fine from BXIOM, but there wasn't much follow-up coming in from BXIOM. It just felt like Dylan just went in on his own.
I will say Dylan has been a silver lining in this matchup. I've been a big fan of how he's been playing this Phoenix. He's been getting critical picks that have been keeping this defense alive. And let me tell you, we are in hospice mode right now with the convoy getting so close to the very end of P3. Heals are out. BXIOM finally have a stable defense. Just a matter of Chiefs playing for this lower angle, not quite vertical, in their favor to push the convoy up and out around this final choke. Rage of Ultron is out. Invisible Boundary in return. Shutting it down, though, Axel Leo unfortunately does fall to the hands of the Meteor M from Donald's side. It's Jeff out, looking for the aim, looking for the fire. Couldn't find much. No, I don't even think it detonated. Okay, Apex Predator in return. What?
I mean, they're trying. Chiefs are able to shut down the Eye of Agamotto with the Fatal Bow Worlds. Axelio is there to counteract, but Axelio being dangerously low, he spotted out. He almost gets eliminated, but I think somehow, some way, he's able to escape getting knocked out in the nick of time. But the Chiefs are already so close to that final checkpoint as a 2-man last stand is able to shut him down, maybe even put a Strangling Prison on top of it to boot. That's a full push for the Chiefs.
My God, what a dominant convoy. That might be the most dominant one we've seen tonight.
Yeah, it just felt like it was quiet for the most part because of how much space that BXIOM were giving to the Chiefs. We haven't seen a lot of eliminations, it felt like.
We really have, and the timer didn't have nearly as much left as you would have thought for the Chiefs inside of OT. BXIOM drained the timer towards the end, but they weren't consistent about finding eliminations. What a bizarre defense coming out from them.
Yeah, it just felt like BXIOM really didn't want to make the first move. There were rarely times where BXIOM went for the aggressive plays. Sometimes they went for the heads-up Eye of Agamotto onto a few members, but sometimes it worked out. Sometimes the Chiefs had their countermeasures, but those countermeasures only really showed up because BXIOM were playing way too passive.
Yeah, I mean, passive is definitely the best way of putting it. I was just really shocked that we didn't see the group play aggressively with those walls. I mean, to be fair, though, you do have the hard counter of the Wolverine against you. Jongs, of course, the hit scan shots from Elsa is going to work wonders to help destroy that wall. Like, I get that. But even then, I expected a much larger aggressive team fight. And now we move to an attack. No shields outside of Captain America. Somble and Crime, they may opt to try to find backline control against Bubblecount and Zittrick. The problem, though, is that you're going to be exposing the entirety of this front line, especially Axel Leo.
We'll see how BXIOM decide to play this out. They're going to take the right side of the map, try to spread themselves out, give themselves as much leverage as possible in terms of where they want to move to the map. But with Somble getting taken down, that's already a huge chunk of that front line gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Big chunk gone. Somble falls, dagger on the Vanguards, and still no movement of this convoy whatsoever. Crime, I don't know where Crime is. Oh, he's in the back line.
Oh, there we go. He finally goes for the hit with Somble, but Somble just gets immediately blown up, not even giving himself a chance to use that armor to get a second health bar, a second chance to get himself out after committing onto that dive. as the Chiefs creep on forward. Now they're getting closer and closer to the spawn room of BXIOM. And this is looking a little rough for BXIOM. They just have to find a way to stack up their ultimates to make sure that they have a way to force themselves in. That's a good step in the right direction. Exolio is able to use the invisible boundary to try to give BXIOM some space, but Zikrig is quickly there to respond.
I mean, that will be the saving grace, right? Trying to utilize these ultimates. Ensong Inferno is out, jumping above the fire and flames. Jong gets away with highway robbery. Another 1v1. Jong removes Sambo from the equation. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock here, and virtually no movement from this convoy.
How do the Chiefs decide to keep on going? Bubbleca even has the fate of both worlds. Zhang finds the isolated pick into 2 in 1 second. Great Pharaoh leap. Great directional movement coming in from Reno as well, making sure he doesn't get knocked out himself. And this is just brutal. It is just brutal for BXIOM to try to break through. The Chiefs are just playing to absolute perfection.
Yeah, anything that BXIOM try to counter-adapt, there's an answer for it. Try to go for the back line, Reno's set up and ready. Try to go for the front line, that's Jong and the rest of the team ready to take you down. Bubble's getting protected non-stop by the shields of their teammate, the Invisible Woman, Zitrick. Daredevil's out though, and this could be the answer. Crime and Deep Impact finally help break the seal of this attack. It's a strong start. I'm liking this. Zombo the same, no longer on a hyper-aggressive Vanguard. Goes to the Groot and finds impact.
Hey, you gotta give a shout out to BXIOM. They kept switching around, figuring out what sticks. And off of that, BXIOM will settle with the Groot from the likes of Sambo. Deep Impact going over to the Daredevil as well, so... And BXIOM, they have the Daredevil one-sided, so Deep Impact has ways to scout out where the Chiefs are coming from. In terms of how they are grouped up and set up, Deep Impact gets the tag onto the back line. Does he find the mark, though, as Reno might just shut down the Freedom Charge?
Oh, no. Unlucky there. These ults are valuable. More valuable than gold for BXIOM. 45 seconds left on the clock, and they won't have a chance to regenerate again. Meteor M doesn't connect, but no, one does get eliminated by the hands of 2 in 1 second. That's what you want to see. BXIOM again are creating that space. They don't need ultimates to use it. And the Chiefs, they've been holding on tight. Bubble's going to go for Doctor Strange, and the portal will come through with a single strategist to boot. It's down to this invisible boundary, down to the wire. 1 minute, 1.64 meters. Invisible boundary, twofold is over for both of these teams. One will outlast the other. Letting the devil out will reign supreme. And Song Inferno as well. Jong falls. Down momentarily. Bubblecust is barely holding on. 7 seconds left. Still though, the convoy hasn't moved at all. It has been a war zone for everybody. Prime just barely holds
Beast
on.
No clutch. Beast No clutch.
Oh, 1.67 meters. It's being pushed back. The overtime beam. It's down to Spider.
Oh my god.
Bursting away. It's Reno again. Jong's back in the equation. A secondary portal. 2 meters. 2 meters is all you have to work off.
Oh no.
I don't even know what's happening, but Jong is there to clean it up. This could have been a highlight for BXIOM, and it's now becoming a low light. Prime is the only one left, hopping, jumping, skipping around, straight to the wings of Angels. That's going to be the Chiefs taking it 3-0.
Beast Node, holy clutch on the Groot, walls himself out of line of sight, is able to put himself in an isolated 1v1 against the fellow Captain America of crime. And that's the difference. No one was able to heal the Captain America. Beast Node was able to shut him down. The cage formed by Beast Node was all it took for the Chiefs to clutch and get the full hold down. Oh my god, what a play from the Groot of the Chiefs. I'm at a loss for words. That was the reason the Chiefs were able to full hold.
Yeah, wonderful work coming out from Chiefs. The fact that you have micro like this really goes to show that, yeah, this is the competition you have to deal with at the top level. I loved how Beast Node played from the very beginning to the very end of this series. Really superstar, stellar, aggressive Vanguard plays. That's what you're looking for.
I mean, that's exactly what the Chiefs need. They need that X factor. We saw it right then and there. If you have that clutch factor, there are chances for your team to get themselves over the line and put themselves in a much more simpler position in terms of how you want to win out on the map. But I gotta give shout out to BXIOM as a whole as well. They were doing really, really well, at least during that push as well. And there were a few times where BXIOM had those heads-up plays looking for those eliminations, but again, they don't look for it every time. That might be a slight issue, because if you recall, when they were on the defensive side on Arako in round number 1, it just felt like they just gave too much of that space.
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole series was a battle of the vanguards. The fact that we saw BXIOM willingly give up so much incremental space, the constant swaps to the vanguards, trying to make something work. There was a moment too where you were starting your attacking side of Arako, no shields. I'm not going to count Captain America as a shield vanguard there. Having no shields, leaving everybody exposed, playing hyper aggressive, that failed, unfortunately, miserably. Luckily, though, we started to see the gears finally, or sorry, the puzzles, I suppose, the pieces start to click into place. I think this is a very valuable lesson for BXIOM, and they could use this to carry through the rest of the group stage.
I mean, this is already a great look for BXIOM, right? They're trying things and figuring out what sticks, right? They're doing their best in terms of what they want to use, what they want to work with, in terms of figuring out what they really want to roll out on. And that's already a great look, right? Being able to be a little bit flexible, making sure that they're able to utilize what they want to do in order to get through certain situations. And it's also the band draft being... I would say BXIOM have been doing pretty well on the band draft. Maybe the first save onto the Invisible Woman might not be the best, but other than that, it's been so far really good looks coming out of BXIOM.
Well, let's figure out what the perspective is coming out from the Chiefs side. We have an interview coming right up momentarily with our boy Donald. Donald, how are you, man? How are you feeling?
Yeah, good, boys. How are you?
Doing fantastic after watching you play, man. So walk us through the journey that the Chiefs have gone through between our last professional run that we had seen y'all back in MRC to now. What does the prep look like between then and group stage?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. A lot of us have a lot going on, so we can't, hit the doubles or triple blocks that we'd love to do. But yeah, it's I don't know, probably like 6-7 scrim blocks a week. What the heck? And yeah, I don't know, just playing in our own time when we can. And yeah, I don't know, nothing special really. Just play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I always, me personally, I've watched you play ever since like back in stage 2 in Asia when you were on down payment way back. What feels different? I know you played in down payment, that whole international roster that did pretty well in going into the later stages of Ignite.
Big Z10, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy matchup. But talk to me, right? What feels different now that you're the captain of the Chiefs compared to when you were being that little bit of an IGL on down payment?
I mean, there's no language gap, which is wonderful. That's I think that's like the main thing, man. It's comms are super duper important. I mean, obviously I'm on 40 ping instead of 140 as well, so that helps a lot.
That would make a difference.
That would help a little bit. Yeah.
makes the Groot ult eats a bit easier. Yeah, I don't know. It's there's not much changing. Just playing the game, trying to win. Yeah.
We interviewed Gen G when they won their last matchup 2-0 just a few, I guess, hours ago at this point, and they said you and the Chiefs are the scariest team for them to face up against in the entirety of Oceania's group stage. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, I built this roster from the ground up. I know everybody's a strong individual. So yeah, I'd hope everyone else thinks that we're like the second scariest ones out there. Yeah. I don't know, man. Gen G are incredible. 5th in the world like twice. It's like no one from O should be able to compete with them. But we're trying our darndest, mate. Like, yeah, we'll do what we can.
All right, Donald. Final thing before you go. Is there anything you wanna put out there? You got the spotlight right now, right? The stage is yours. If there's anything you want to say out into the world, out to the fellow fans of the Chiefs, is there any final words before you move on forward in the group stage? Yeah, I want to thank the Chiefs guys. Like, they're amazing, super helpful. I want to thank Coach Chopper. I feel like he's not going to get any spotlight with this.
And yeah, I mean, just everyone that scrims us. Thanks FL for the warm up today, and thanks OG for yesterday. Yeah, just keep watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Donald. A pleasure to interview you, man. And we say this every time. I'm sure it won't be the last time either. You guys have played wonderfully, and this group stage is only beginning. I can only imagine what's going to happen from here, dude.
Yeah, things are looking up. Should be good.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Donald.